What's up, everybody? Today is February 24th, 2022. My name is JT, founder of Find Your Edge Trading. And today we are going to go over what happened today, as well as going to look at all the sectors, kind of break those down a little bit, what we see possibly moving forward from here, and maybe even a few swing plays to pay attention to. So, without further ado, let's get things started. Before I say anything further, please like and subscribe for future videos about us. And in the description below, I will post a free link to our Discord. And there is a 5-day free trial in the Discord, so check that out. All right, let's get it going. So we are looking right now at SPY, and today, let's look at it back here. This is a daily chart, and I want to note that we opened all the way down here today. Now this is a daily chart, and I've got it pulled all the way back here because I'm looking at some levels all the way dating back to April of last year. And you can see that this is basically an area where we had kind of broken down and then come back up and broken down and come back up, where there is 1, 2, 3, 4 touches in the past for support. So whenever you have the market opening down, it's such an extreme today, you kind of have to look for at least some sort of reversal at the open, because the inventory overnight is extremely short, and some of those people are going to want to get out of those positions once the market opens. Now, the reason why today was so much stronger than what you may normally see is, again, going back to these levels of support that we had in the past. And you can see how we just bounced right off that range right there very strongly. And once we pushed up and over that, it was just bonkers, and there was no stopping it. Now, if you want to look at a 15-minute chart, which is what I love to use, I'm going to note something that I look for quite often, which is a candle closing above a previous candle's high, and the first one in its sequence. The reason why I think that's significant is everybody who bought that issue just in the last candle is making money, and they don't have a reason to sell. So that candle is actually going to be this one right here. And you can see that over the next one right here, it closes above this high. Now, given that nature, and given that we are not that far above overnight low, which was right here, to me it was a pretty good trade to take from the open to buy up and over this high on the 915 candle. You could have even excuse me, you could have even taken it at the open with your stop below the overnight low, because since we're at support here at overnight low, and we have all this support on a longer term basis in the past, that's a lot to kind of push through. And the amount of risk reward here to the downside was just tapped out. I mean, we have moved down quite a bit here just in the last few days. In fact, just in this area right here, we have moved. We went as low as 10–11% just in the last 2 weeks, which is crazy. So that's quite a move. pretty quick. And we can't just go straight down. There has to be some sort of bounce somewhere. And what better area there was today than where we did bounce? Again, noting those areas of support in the past. So you can see here that we got this candle to close above this one. And notice how no candle after that closes below the prior candle's low, only up until here. Now at this point I'd probably get out and take profits, but then the next candle again prints above the previous candle's high, and that to me was showing a little bit of strength. And actually when I looked at what was going on during the day and looking at the volume profile, I could see that we had some support right here at this level around 416, maybe like 415 quarter, excuse me. And as long as that could hold, we could launch off that. And so buying off this candle, as long as we don't go below this level and we don't get any candles closing below the prior one, we should just take off, and boom, we were just off to the races today. And think of it this way. Everybody overnight was short. Everybody shorted here. Everybody in the overnight session was short. Now, once they started to feel that pressure, they're obviously going to cover their shorts because they can't take the pain anymore. And as we kept going, all those overnight players were now losing. And then once we broke the settlement from yesterday, right there, it was off to the races. Beautiful, beautiful close. Now, where do we go from here? It's hard to say. I mean, looking at today's candle, right? Huge, huge candle. So let me take this off real quick. Oops. There we go. Delete this so we can see a little bit more clear. But I want you to notice, excuse me, very huge range here. We went as low as 410.64 all the way up to 428.76 and almost closed right at the high. So going into tomorrow, I'm not looking to go long unless we get up and above our high today. Because otherwise, I'm thinking that we're probably just going to stay within the range of yesterday. That being said, if somehow we push down back below this low, then that would be super bearish. But again, I'm not going to take a position at this point unless we get some confirmation. You know, one day doesn't make a trend. And as you can see, the trend is still down, right? So we need to see some further confirmation with another day higher tomorrow. And given the fact that we also closed right at prior support, which was now broken, we need to see that follow up tomorrow back up and over today's high. But if we can do that, there may be some opportunities. Now, I think it's important for us to check out the different sectors of the S&P 500 and what really made it happen today. So let's take a look at that. I've got the list right here. So this was the top performing one today, and it was technology. And if we look at this, you can see that technology pretty much bounced right off. If you just take this and come to the left here, you can see we pretty much bounced off this area, which was resistance before. Then we broke through it, and we keep falling down here. We've had this huge downdraft in technology. A lot of high multiple names that have just been running rampant over the last couple year and a half, and the market has really made them pay the price lately with tech. Now you can see from the high, we moved as much as almost 20%, which is absolutely crazy. So absolutely huge move. 20% is usually a bear market. And you can see that the market just bounced again, off of that prior resistance that broke out into over here, and there was a demand area here, so that held up. So interesting. So tomorrow, I would look to see if, again, similar scenario, if we can get up and over that high, and then maybe we might get some sort of a run in technology. But you gotta wait for confirmation in these, folks. You can't just, again, say one day doesn't make a trend. Just let's see how things play out. Now, the Qs, same chart, going to be the same thing as most of tech is in the Qs right here. Next chart we got is communications. I do like this as we closed above the prior day's high, actually. But again, I would not touch this as a long unless we got up and over that high. And that's going to be the same thing for pretty much all of this. Now you'll see, I like this double bottom here in this one, and this is in the Russell. If we can get further upside tomorrow, I might be more interested in this one actually than some of the others. Because if you come out here, we had a prior demand area here, and we also have, it was tested here where it bounced, and then today it look below and fail at the same level pretty much. So the risk reward is definitely in the long side of this trade. All right, now we are looking at consumer discretionary, not liking this so much as we are in a definite downtrend, still got a downtrend right here. Again, we're going to need to see further confirmation of some candles closing above this one right here. Real estate. Now, real estate has been taking a hit as rates have been increasing, and I still expect that to continue as the interest rate environment is worsening with inflation and things like that. So I actually think that real estate may continue to go further down. This actually was an important support level that held up today, but unless we get, again, some curling up action here, this might just continue down, as you've got to take note of what's going on in the economic space. This is SPY, we went over that. Next, you got the industrials. Been very bearish lately, and we did bounce off some nice support right here. So again, you just want to take note, can we get that curl action again? Same thing with this chart. We got utilities here. Utilities is usually something that people like to rush into when the market is down, but they have not been faring well either. And we have a nice downtrend here. Again, we need to see some of that curl up action before we can consider taking a long here. And last but not least is healthcare here. And we do have a nice bottom here, and bottom here. If we can get just a nice another bounce for the next couple days, again, looks attractive. Now those are all of the sectors that were green today. Now we still had some red sectors. So this one is materials, and this one is looking terrible right now. This candle, although it was green, it closed below this one, so not very attractive there. Energy closed down, and let's be frank, I think the last thing people thought was energy closing down today after oil absolutely boomed on the news that Russia started invading Ukraine. But sure enough, actually oil tumbled back down, as well as gold. Gold had taken off, but only to go back lower. All right, next we got financials, and they have been absolutely getting killed in the last week and a half. And they might have just bounced. Let's see if I can redraw this trend line here. Let's see, or maybe I can grab this one. Well, let's take this off actually. This actually doesn't really, it's not really valid anymore. this one because we have broken out of this. So we have this, possibly what this is we have a bottom here, a bottom here, and a bottom here. This is very much a wide range here, but you just have like just a back and forth going on here with financials. If we could possibly fill the gap right here and then push up again, open over that, then I'd say financials may have bottomed. But otherwise, if we push back below the low of maybe like say 36.5, we could probably retest back down to here around 36 or even lower than that. Maybe all the way down to about 34, 35. Last but not least, we got consumer staples, and those did not fare the worst today. As you can see, this is a very bearish chart. You'd want to see probably an inside day the next day, followed by some curl up action. Otherwise, may just continue going down. As this actually just started falling off the cliff, people that bought up here are probably definitely feeling the pressure. Actually, everybody up here is stuck. So look to see if this may even come all the way down to here over the next week or two. All right. That being said, I am going to show you what possibly may be some nice long trades coming up. First is net. And if we can get a close over or a move over 110, I'll be looking at some 115 calls on nets for, let's see, expiration. I'm going to be looking at some net 115 calls for March 18th, and right now they're going for about $6. So that might be attractive right there. That's the first stock I like. Second one is actually Roku. This one had a nice bottom and continues to go higher here, liking this a little bit to at least a gap fill up to 143 and change. So I'm looking to go over today's high, over 136. And if we go over 136, I will be looking at possibly some 150 calls in Roku for March 18th. And those are currently going for about $5. Next long one that I am looking at is DraftKings. And this one opened lower today but finished strong, and given the strength that we see right here even after earnings, and it filled the gap today actually, I would look to see if we can get up and over $22. If we can do that, I'd be probably looking at some DraftKings calls for, let's see, the 18th of March, and those are currently going for about $1.37. All right. Next, we got Datadog. And I'm liking this curl action that could possibly happen tomorrow. There's a lot of strength in the software and security space. Datadog, like it a lot. So with this right here, if we can get a push up and over, I'd say maybe 162. We can get some, these. Over 162, I'd be looking at some 170 calls, which are going for about $6. And last but not least, we have Cigna. And this is a little bit different, but I do like this one a little bit. If we can get, because we have a nice bottom here, and we saw some support come off of that. So if we can get a push over 225 tomorrow, I'd be looking at some 230 calls on Cigna. And those are currently going for about $4. All right? And that's for March 18th. All right, and now we're going to look at some shorts. And what I'm looking at here is possibly just a few names that I think have a pretty nice setup to take it lower. First one is Duke, D-U-K. I'm looking for a move below the low today, which was 95.48. And if we can get that, I will be looking for some March 18th 92 half puts, and they're currently going for about 75 cents. Next one after that, we have Gilead. Nice bearish chart looking here. I'm looking for a move below the low today, which was about 60.07. So let's just say about 60. And below 60, we would be looking at some March 18th $58 puts, currently going for about $1.30. After that, we got one last name, and this is an energy name. And this is Marathon. Now, I know that there's a lot of bullish sentiment in energy, but at the same time, oil has gotten a little bit ahead of itself. But you're going to need to see some confirmation in this trade. If the support holds up, then this is just not going to work. But if for whatever reason it breaks down, this is going to be a great setup to take lower. But again, for all these setups, you had to wait for the confirmation to push above the high or push below the low. So for this one, a push below the low, which was 72.75. So let's go 72 half. And we are going to look at a March 18th $71 put. Those are currently going for about $1.53. All right. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the Discord. And overall, I would say that tomorrow probably going to be an inside day of yesterday's action. Now, I would say that if we can get a push above the high, that would be bullish. But I'm not sure that that's going to happen. We wasted a lot of energy today to push as far as we did. And they really defended that support in SPY and in the indexes. But now the question comes, what after this? Again, one day does not make a trend. And given the geopolitical tensions, inflation, all those other things going on, it's hard to ignore those. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great evening, and I will see you in the room.